Hey, what's up, everyone? Welcome week one of our 8 week challenge. I made this FAQ for everyone to answer the most asked questions on this challenge. So, stick around to hear some of the answers to some of the biggest concerns I've been getting, as well as stick around the whole thing, stick around to watch the whole thing, because at the end, I sort of have a thought process or a trick I use that really helps you with any decision or any big question you might have on the challenge. The main concern I've been getting with the challenge so far, based on your questions, is you either struggle with time, variety, you get sick of meals. Something is happening with the meal prepping where at this point you understand the meal prep. Yes, I get the macros. Yes, I know how to make a meal plan. But I either struggle with the time, I get sick of doing the same meals over and over, and I have trouble fitting it into my actual daily life. And this is important to work through because ultimately it wants you to make sure that the habits you adopt right now are things you can keep doing long term. So my main answer to this is going to be sort of a mix of stuff. So we're going to talk about different methods of meal prep. So I sort of break it into two different camps, either a full prep versus a partial prep. So let's talk about which each one is. So full prep is classic meal prep, right? So it's sort of what we sort of push. What we push in the orientation and the communication is you do classic meal prep. You cook all your foods, you measure everything out, you portion it out, you put it in some Tupperwares, it's ready to go, and basically you do it all over the weekend. So all your prep is done over a couple days, and then it sets you up for the next however many meals for the whole week. All right, so that's your full prep. That's classic. Now, one method that works really well, I've worked with a lot of clients on that tends to get some great success as well, is a partial prep. So very similar to the full prep is you're going to take time on the weekend, you prep all your ingredients, but you don't worry about portioning them out, you don't worry about cooking them, you just prep them and they're ready to go. You put it in larger containers for use over the course of the week. So this might be an example of like, yes, I cut like a lot of bell peppers or onions or meats. I put them in a big container, and then when I need to, I can just grab it. I grab it from the container, I measure it out, and I cook it the day of. All right, so there's sort of these two different camps here. Let's talk about the pros and cons of each. So with the full prep, the way I like to put it is you can't mess this up because if you do your math right, if you make everything that you need to make over the course of the weekend, everything's ready to go and it's ready to throw in a microwave, right? It's convenient. During the week, it's fast. You don't really need to think about it. Right, so with a full prep, it's nice because you did all the work on the front end, and now you just eat all those meals that you already planned out. That's really the ultimate pro of that, is it takes sort of like all the thought, all the back end work out of it. Now, the hard part about this, the cons sort of list here, is you'll typically eat a lot of the same meals every day, or at least the same ingredients every day, and it might get bland to some. Right? And for a lot of people, another con is microwave food doesn't always feel the best for everyone. Some people had mentioned, sometimes it feels like I'm eating leftovers a lot. So the variety can really go down, as well as sometimes the taste of the food doesn't always end up the best, according to some people who have issues with this method of prep. So that's the full prep. Let's talk about partial prep too. So the pros of partial prep is that you have less time on your meal prep day. So let's say I typically prep, Saturday, Sunday. I take less time on those days because instead of cooking and portioning everything out, I just chop everything up. I put in some big containers. It's set to go for me to cook later in the week. So it's less work on the front end. You'll still have to cook on the back end. You can have way more variety. So the ultimate pro here for a lot of these going to help you is you'll have way more variety in your meals because you can prep a lot of different ingredients and mix them up as needed. So yes, I can prep the peppers, the onions, the different kinds of veggies, different kinds of meats. And when I cook them, I can cook them in different methods. I can saute, I can stir fry, I can add different seasonings, different oils, fats to make it have more variety, even if I'm using very similar ingredients. And if you're already used to cooking dinner every day, this can be more family friendly. Because now I can also I can prep some carbs. If you're doing carb cycling, I can prep some carbs for the rest of my family, and they can cook that up or eat that family style, where you have most of the same ingredients. You just avoid the direct carb sources. Now, the cons of this is you have to take time to cook during the week. So again, if the time management part is tough of this of like, I have trouble finding time cooking. Like I'm really on the go. This is going to be a little bit tougher for you to do during the week, in my opinion, because you do also have to measure out the macros every single meal. And of course, this is very hard to do on the go because on the go, you might not have access to a kitchen or something that you can cook those ingredients that you prepped ahead of time. Now, those are the two main styles of meal prep. But here's the kicker, right? Here's sort of the twist here. You don't necessarily need to pick one or the other. For example, I'm using myself as an example. I meal prep all my dinners for the week so I can microwave them. So I get home after I get back from work, I throw in the microwave, boom, it's good to go. I don't need to think about it. But I also have ingredients prepped in the fridge that when I come home for lunch or even breakfast, I can just throw into a pan or just cook up really quickly, and I can get that done and have some variety on what meals I'm having for other meals aside from dinner. So using those sort of different meal prep methods, you can find a mix that works for you. You can have a lot of your meals pre-prepped and a lot of ingredients prepped. You can go all one or the other, but having a mix of both is really going to help with your time management as well as variety if those are your main struggles. Now, the second question I've been getting a lot, I don't know if you remember in orientation, but the question is, can I have XYZ food that is off the list? Hey, this is off the list. Can I have it? This is off the list. Can I have it? Can I have this or that or this or that? So my answer is sort of twofold here. So yes, remember that you can have any food you want. The food list is great to follow, but remember, if you go off the list, you have to count all the macros, which make it harder to fit your totals, especially if you're doing carb cycling. A lot of foods have trace amount of carbs in them. As your coach, and I want to put this as sort of a gentle reminder here, as your coach, I can't make you do anything. Right? I can't physically go and meal prep and hold your hand as you do these meal preps and go grocery shopping. If you want to go off the food list, you want to eat extra, if you eat a free meal, if you don't want to stick to the plan, at the end of the day, it's totally your decision, right? But at the end of the day, you're also going to have to take responsibility for the results you have on the back end, right? If you're going off the list a lot, if you're trying to circumvent the system and do your own thing, you might still see progress, which is fantastic. If you can find a way that fits for you, then great. But ultimately, it makes the results a lot less predictable. So what I don't want is for you to go off the plan and get frustrated that you're not seeing the results because you're not following that same plan. So there's something to think about there. And what I want to leave you all with, and this really helps with sort of any sort of tough decision that you need to make on the challenge, whether it's, okay, what kind of meal prep do I do? How am I going to structure my week this week? How am I going to do all this? How am I going to make all this happen? Because it's hard. One statement that's helping make all these decisions, whether it's in meal prep or just in life in general, is you choose your hard. So let me explain. Sticking to the meal plan and food list is hard, right? Taking time to meal prep and count macros, it's hard. Working out consistently, waking up early, it's hard. Drinking all your water, it's hard. I'm not denying any of that, if that's how you're feeling. But it's also hard. What's hard is having low energy and struggling to get through the day, right? What's hard is not having your clothes fit the way you want. What's hard is feeling like your health is out of control and not being confident in yourself because we can't find a system that works for you. That's also difficult. So at the end of the day, which hard are you going to choose? Are you going to choose the hard of the commitment you need to be successful in doing all those tasks, or the hard of not overcoming those feelings which made you sign up in the first place? And for me, the decision's really clear, right? But I want you to make that decision. You need to make that choice. And if you're ready to choose the hard that's going to move you forward and move you towards your goals, I guarantee that you will move towards those goals. But I hope that you guys have a great rest of your week. Turn your progress reports. I look forward to hearing all your questions for next week as well. Have a great one, team. Peace out.